Please, can someone help me up these steps?
A veteran in a wheelchair, stranded at the bus door. The driver stared ahead. No one moved.
Sir, I can lift you.
Don't touch him! Look at you, no shoes, filthy hands. Get away from him.
Ma'am, he just needs...
I said back off. Someone call security. The trash has crowded in here to beg again.
Owen Anderson, homeless, barefoot, hands cracked from sleeping on concrete. But he didn't step back.
I got you. Hold on tight.
He gripped the wheelchair frame, lifted it step by step, alone. The veteran grabbed his arm, trembling.
Thank you, God. Thank you. No one ever
A
stopped.
teenager laughed. A man shook his head. None of them knew that what happened next would change everything forever. 3 hours earlier, Owen Anderson sat on a bench outside the Greyhound station on West Harrison Street. No bag, no phone, no shoes. His bare feet were black from pavement grit. The skin split along both heels where winter cold had cracked it open months ago, and it never healed right. A blister on his left sole had burst 2 days ago. He wrapped it with a strip of cloth torn from his shirt. The cloth was brown now. He watched people pass, business suits, earbuds, coffee cups with names written in marker. Nobody looked at him. He had become furniture, a shape the city stepped around. Sometimes people dropped coins near him without making eye contact. Most didn't even do that. Owen was 41 years old. He had been homeless for 3 years. Before that, he was a vehicle mechanic with the U.S. Army, 3rd Infantry Division, 2 combat tours in Iraq. He could strip a Humvee transmission blindfolded. He could rebuild a diesel engine with hand tools in a sandstorm. He came home in 2014 with a purple heart, a shattered left knee, and something inside his chest that never stopped burning. PTSD. The diagnosis came 18 months after discharge. By then, his wife had filed papers. His landlord had changed the locks. His VA benefits application sat in a processing queue that never moved. A clerical error marked his file incomplete. And every time he called, a different voice told him to resubmit. He resubmitted 4 times. Then, he stopped calling. The shelter on South Michigan gave him a cot when beds were open. When they weren't, he slept under the Lake Street overpass with cardboard beneath him and a garbage bag over his legs. He collected aluminum cans, 60 cents a pound. On a good day, he made $4. On a bad day, he walked 10 miles and made nothing. His last pair of shoes fell apart in February. The sole separated from the toe box on both sides. He tried duct tape. It held for a week. Then rain soaked through and the tape slid off like dead skin. He walked barefoot after that. 5 months now. Glass cuts, gravel burns, frozen sidewalks in March. His feet had become something other than feet. Thick, numb pads that carried him forward because stopping meant dying. People notice a man with no shoes. They notice and they look away faster. That afternoon, Owen walked to the bus stop on State Street. Not to ride, he had no fare, but because the bench there had a backrest and the sun hit it until 4. He sat, he closed his eyes, he let the warmth settle into his shoulders. The Route 29 bus pulled up at 3:47. Doors hissed open, passengers shuffled forward. That's when Owen saw him. A white man, mid-60s, sitting in a wheelchair at the curb. Military cap, faded army jacket with patches on both sleeves. His right leg was missing below the knee. The wheelchair's front wheels sat at the edge of the bus steps, a gap of 3 stairs, steep and narrow, with no ramp deployed. The bus driver, a heavy-set man in a CTA polo, glanced at the wheelchair, then looked at his watch. He did not get up. He did not lower the ramp. He didn't say a word. The veteran looked up at the steps, then at the passengers filing past him. His arms pushed against the wheel rims, but the angle was impossible. The chair wouldn't climb. His jaw tightened. His knuckles whitened on the armrests. "Excuse me," the veteran said. His voice was quiet, tired, strained like a man who had asked too many times before. Could someone... A woman in a gray business suit brushed past, phone pressed to her ear. A college kid with a backpack stepped over the wheelchair's footrest without breaking stride. An older man in a polo shirt looked at the veteran, shook his head slightly, and boarded. Nobody stopped. 12 people, not one. Owen watched from the bench. His hands tightened on his knees. He knew that jacket. He knew those patches. 3rd Infantry, same unit, same division. He stood up. His bare feet hit the sidewalk. Cold concrete, then the metal edge of the bus step. He walked toward the veteran with nothing in his hands, nothing in his pockets, nothing to his name except the knowledge of what it meant to serve and come home to nothing. "Sir," Owen said, "I can lift you." The veteran looked up, saw the torn jacket, the bare feet, the cracked hands, and nodded. "Please." Owen bent his knees, his bare feet pressed flat against the metal bus step, cold, ridged, biting into the raw skin of his soles. He wrapped both hands around the wheelchair frame, fingers locking into the steel tubing the way they once locked around engine mounts in Fallujah. He lifted. The wheelchair tilted back. The veteran gripped the armrest, knuckles white. Owen's arm shook. His left knee, the one with the shrapnel still lodged behind the kneecap, screamed. He didn't stop. 1 step, 2 steps, 3. The bus was silent. He set the wheelchair down on the bus floor, straightened the front wheels, and pushed it to the handicap space near the front. He locked both brakes, checked the footrest. Then he stood beside the veteran, hands at his sides, breathing hard. Nobody clapped. Nobody said thank you. The woman in the business suit, Linda Marsh, though Owen didn't know her name, pulled her purse closer to her body and shifted 2 seats away. The man in the polo shirt leaned toward the woman beside him. "Great, some stranger handling that wheelchair. That's supposed to be safe?" He laughed. Short, nasal. Man thinks he's a hero now. A teenager near the back had his phone up, recording. He zoomed in on Owen's bare feet, then panned up to his torn jacket. "Yo, this is content," he whispered to his friend. They both laughed. Owen didn't respond. He stood next to the wheelchair, one hand resting lightly on the back of the seat, and stared straight ahead. His jaw was set. His eyes were somewhere else. Somewhere with sand and metal and smoke. Stop after stop, passengers got off, new ones got on. Some stared at Owen, some wrinkled their noses. One woman pulled her child closer when she passed him. The child pointed at his feet. "Mommy, why doesn't he have shoes?" "Don't look at him, sweetie." Owen heard it. He always heard it. 3 years of hearing it. He had stopped flinching a long time ago. The veteran, though, he watched. He watched the way Owen stood, straight-backed, weight even on both feet despite the limp. Head high, hands still. The posture of a man trained to stand watch. 6 stops passed, then 7. The veteran hadn't said a word since please, but his eyes hadn't left Owen. At the 8th stop, the veteran spoke. "You served, didn't you?" Owen looked down. The veteran's eyes were sharp, blue, clear, the kind of eyes that had read 1,000 men. "How do you know that?" Owen's voice was low, rough, a voice unused to conversation. "Because only a soldier lifts like that." The veteran sat straighter. "The way you braced, the way you checked the wheels. That's not civilian instinct. What branch?" "Army." "How many tours?" 2. The veteran nodded slowly. He looked at Owen's feet, at his cracked hands, at the torn jacket with no insignia, no name, nothing left to mark what he had once been. "What happened to you, son?" Owen's jaw tightened. His eyes went to the window. Buildings passing, people walking, lives moving forward, while his stood still. "System lost my file," he said. "Benefits denied. Appealed 4 times. Got tired of fighting something that doesn't fight back." The veteran was quiet for a long moment. "My stop's next," he said finally. He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a card. Cream-colored, thick, embossed lettering. He held it out to Owen. Owen looked at it. The text read, "Sergeant Major Harold Davis, retired. Chairman, National Veterans Reentry Program." "Call that number," Davis said. "Tomorrow morning. Tell them Davis sent you. Tell them your name and your service record. That's all you have to do." Owen took the card. His hand was shaking. Not from cold, not from effort. From something he hadn't felt in 3 years. hope, fragile, terrifying. Why? Owen asked. Davis looked at him, steady, certain. Because I know what it's like to come home and find out home doesn't exist anymore. He paused. And because you lifted me when no one else would. The bus stopped. Owen helped Davis down, bare feet on asphalt this time, and Davis wheeled himself to the curb without looking back. Owen stood on the sidewalk, barefoot, holding a business card like it was made of glass. That night, Owen slept under the Lake Street overpass. Same spot, same cardboard, same garbage bag over his legs. But the card was in his jacket pocket, pressed flat against his chest. He checked it twice before closing his eyes. Once to make sure it was real, once because he was afraid it would disappear. He didn't sleep much. At 6:14 a.m., he walked 2 miles to the public library on South State Street. His bare feet left damp prints on the marble floor. The security guard at the door looked at him, then at his feet, then back at his face. "Sir, you need shoes too." "I just need the phone," Owen said. 2 minutes. The guard hesitated, then stepped aside. Owen picked up the receiver. His fingers were shaking. He pulled the card from his pocket, creased now, soft at the edges from being held too many times overnight. He dialed the number. It rang 3 times. "National Veterans Reentry Program, how may I direct your call?" Owen opened his mouth. Nothing came out. 3 years of silence. 3 years of being invisible. His throat locked. "Hello? Is someone there?" "My name is Owen Anderson," he said. The words came out thin, barely audible. He cleared his throat. "Sergeant Major Davis told me to call. He said to give my name and my service record." A pause. Then the sound of typing. "Owen Anderson, Army, 3rd Infantry Division?" "Yes, ma'am." "Hold one moment, please." The hold music was soft, classical. Owen stood in the library lobby, barefoot on cold tile, holding a public phone with both hands, listening to violins. The security guard watched him from across the room. A woman at the front desk glanced over, then looked away. 40 seconds passed. Then a voice, different now, warmer, more direct. "Mr. Anderson? My name is Pamela Cortez. I'm the Director of Case Services here. Sergeant Major Davis called us last night about your situation." Owen's grip tightened on the phone. "He called last night?" "Yes, sir. He was quite insistent." A pause, something that might have been a smile in her voice. "He said, and I'm quoting, 'This man carried me when the whole bus watched. The least this country can do is carry him back.'" Owen closed his eyes. His forehead touched the cool plastic of the phone unit. "Mr. Anderson, I've pulled your file. I can see the issue. There was a clerical error in 2015 that flagged your application as incomplete. It was never corrected. Your benefits should never have been denied." "I told them," Owen whispered. "I called 4 times. I know. I can see the notes. I'm sorry." Her voice was steady, professional, but something in it cracked, just barely. "We're correcting it now. Today. I need you to come in tomorrow morning. Can you do that?" "Yes, ma'am. Our office is at 2122 West Taylor Street. Ask for me at the front desk. Bring any ID you have. If you don't have ID, come anyway. We'll figure it out." Owen nodded, then realized she couldn't see him. "I'll be there." "Good." Another pause. "And, Mr. Anderson, when you come in, ask the front desk for the emergency assistance package. There's a clothing voucher, for shoes too." Owen looked down at his bare feet on the tile. Black grime in the cracks, dried blood on his left heel. "Thank you," he said, and meant it in a way he hadn't meant anything in years. He hung up the phone, stood there for a moment. The library was quiet. Morning light came through the tall windows and hit the floor in long rectangles. Owen walked back out into the city, barefoot, but different. The next morning, Owen stood outside 2122 West Taylor Street at 7:48 a.m. The office didn't open until 8:30. He was early because he had nowhere else to be, and because he was afraid that if he waited too long, the door would lock again. His bare feet ached on the concrete steps. November air bit at his ankles. He tucked his hands into his jacket pockets and watched his breath come out in thin clouds. Other people passed. Men in coats, women with scarves, all of them with shoes. all of them going somewhere with certainty. At 8:30, a woman in a navy blazer pushed open the glass door from inside. She was mid-40s, dark hair pinned back, reading glasses on a chain around her neck. She saw Owen immediately. "Mr. Anderson?" He nodded. "I'm Pamela Cortez. Come in." She held the door. Owen stepped across the threshold. His bare feet hit polished stone, cold and smooth, nothing like pavement. The lobby was clean, fluorescent light, a flag in the corner, a reception desk with a young man behind it who looked up, saw Owen's feet, and opened his mouth to say something. Pamela raised one hand. The young man closed his mouth. "He's with me," she said. That was all. She led Owen down a hallway, past closed doors with nameplates, past a break room where someone was making coffee, past a bulletin board covered with flyers about housing programs, job fairs, mental health hotlines. Owen read them as he passed. He had seen versions of these flyers before, in shelters, in libraries, taped to the inside of bus stops. They had never led to anything. Pamela's office was small, neat. A desk, 2 chairs, a computer, a filing cabinet. On her desk sat a thick manila folder with a yellow sticky note on top. Owen could read his own name on the tab. "Sit down," Pamela said. Not a command, an invitation. Owen sat. The chair was padded. He hadn't sat in a padded chair in 3 years. The sensation was strange, like his body had forgotten what comfort felt like. Pamela opened the folder. "I'm going to walk you through what happened to your file," she said, "and then we're going to fix it," she explained. In 2015, when Owen submitted his benefits application, a data entry clerk misspelled his Social Security number. 1 digit transposed. The system flagged the application as incomplete due to identity mismatch. An automated letter was sent to an address Owen no longer lived at. When he called to follow up, the call center agent saw the flag but didn't have authorization to overwrite it. They told him to resubmit. He resubmitted. 4 times. Each time the same transposed digit was already in the system. Each time, the system rejected the correction because it conflicted with the original entry. A loop with no exit. "This should have been caught in 2016, Pamela said. Her voice was flat, controlled, but Owen could see her jaw tighten. A supervisor review should have flagged the discrepancy. It didn't. I don't know why. I can't explain 3 years of—" She stopped. "I'm sorry, that's not enough, but I'm saying it anyway." Owen looked at his hands. Cracked, rough, stained. Hands that had rebuilt engines. Hands that had carried a wounded sergeant through a mile of desert under fire. Hands that had held cardboard over his body while he slept in the rain. "What happens now?" he asked. "Now we fix it." Pamela turned her screen so Owen could see it. "Your Social Security number is corrected. Your service record is verified. Your disability rating, which was pending, is being processed today. You're rated at 70%. 70? PTSD, 40%. Left knee injury, 30%. Combined, 70. That qualifies you for full medical, monthly compensation, and housing assistance." Owen's hands were trembling. He pressed them flat against his thighs. "How much?" he asked. He didn't mean to ask. It felt wrong to ask. But the number mattered. The number was the difference between a roof and a sidewalk. Monthly compensation at 70% is approximately $1,455, Pamela said. Plus back pay for the period of wrongful denial. 36 months. That's, she checked her screen, approximately $52,000. Owen didn't move. $52,000. He had made $4 yesterday collecting cans. "There's also an emergency housing voucher," Pamela continued. "I've already submitted the request. You should have a placement within 72 hours. It won't be luxury, a studio, basic furnishings, but it's yours, your name on a lease." Owen nodded. He couldn't speak. His throat had closed again, but different this time. Not the silence of invisibility, the silence of a man trying to hold himself together. Pamela pulled a white envelope from her desk drawer. "This is the emergency assistance package. Inside, there's a clothing voucher, $200 at a partnered retailer. You can get a coat, pants." She paused, looked at his feet. "Shoes." Owen took the envelope. held it with both hands. "One more thing," Pamela said. She pulled a printed letter from the folder. "Sergeant Major Davis also contacted Barrett and Cole Logistics. It's a veteran-owned firm that hires former service members. They've agreed to schedule you for an interview once you're settled. No pressure, no timeline. Whenever you're ready." Owen looked up. "He did all that?" "One phone call," Pamela said. "That's all it took. One phone call to someone who actually listened." She leaned back in her chair. "Sometimes that's all it takes, Mr. Anderson. One person who gives a damn." Owen stood up. He extended his hand. Pamela shook it. "Thank you, Miss Cortez." "Don't thank me. Thank the man in the wheelchair," she smiled. "Small, real. And for what it's worth, I'm glad you picked up that phone this morning." Owen walked out of the VA office at 9:47 a.m. The November air hit his face, cold, sharp. The same city, the same sidewalk, the same bare feet on concrete. But in his jacket pocket, a housing voucher, a clothing voucher, and a letter confirming $52,000 in back pay. His bare feet carried him forward, the same as yesterday, the same as every day for 3 years. But for the first time, they were carrying him towards something. The studio apartment was on the 3rd floor of a brick building on West Monroe Street. One room, a bed, a dresser, a small kitchen with a 2-burner stove and a refrigerator that hummed louder than it should. A bathroom with a door that locked. Owen stood in the middle of the room for 11 minutes. He counted. Not on purpose. His body just counted. The way it used to count seconds between mortar rounds. He sat on the bed, pressed his hands into the mattress, felt the springs push back. He lay down, stared at the ceiling. White, clean, no sky, no overpass, no pigeons, no rain. He slept 14 hours. When he woke up, he showered. Hot water. He stood under it until his skin turned red and the mirror fogged and he couldn't see himself anymore. Then he wiped the glass with his palm and looked. He didn't recognize the man staring back, thinner than he remembered, older, hollowed out around the eyes. But clean. For the first time in months, clean. He used the clothing voucher the next day, a thrift-partnered store on South Halsted. He picked out a pair of dark jeans, a gray button-down, a belt, a winter coat, second-hand but solid, and shoes. He spent 20 minutes choosing shoes. Black work boots, lace-up, rubber sole, size 11. He put them on in the store and stood there looking down at his feet. Covered, protected, off the ground. He walked out of the store. Each step felt different. The sidewalk didn't bite. The cold didn't reach. His feet didn't bleed. Back at the apartment, he found a letter in the mailbox. Barrett and Cole Logistics. Interview scheduled. Tuesday, 10 a.m. Contact, Human Resources Department. Business casual attire recommended. Owen pinned the letter to the wall above his bed with a thumbtack. He looked at it for a long time. Then he ironed the gray button-down, hung it on the back of the door, set the boots beneath it, lined up neat. Ready. For the first time in 3 years, Owen Anderson had a tomorrow worth preparing for. Tuesday morning, Owen put on the gray button-down, the dark jeans, the belt, the winter coat. He laced the black boots, tight even, the way he used to lace combat boots before patrol. He looked at himself in the bathroom mirror. He looked like a man going somewhere. He took the Route 29 bus to North Wacker Drive. Same bus line, same seats. This time he had fare. This time he had shoes. He sat near the back and watched the city pass through the window. Nobody looked at him, but this time it felt different. This time, invisible felt like camouflage, not erasure. Barrett and Cole Logistics occupied the 6th floor of a glass building on North Wacker Drive. Owen arrived at 9:38 a.m., 22 minutes early. He sat in the lobby on a leather chair and watched people move through the revolving doors. Pressed shirts, polished shoes, lanyards swinging. Everyone walked fast. Everyone belonged. A framed poster on the wall read, "Barrett and Cole, proudly veteran-owned since 2009. We hire those who served." Owen read it 3 times, held on to it like a railing. At 9:55, a receptionist called his name. "Mr. Anderson, Mr. Hale will see you now." Conference Room B. Richard Hale was already seated when Owen walked in. Mid-50s, silver hair combed straight back, navy suit, no tie, gold watch. He didn't stand when Owen entered, didn't extend his hand. He looked up from a tablet, scanned Owen from boots to collar, and smiled. Thin, brief, the kind of smile that had nothing behind it. "Have a seat." Owen sat. "So," Hale leaned back. "Veterans Program Referral, Sergeant Major Davis. That's quite a recommendation." He tapped the tablet twice. "Tell me about your experience." Owen spoke, clearly, directly. 2 tours as a vehicle mechanic, fleet maintenance for 140 vehicles, supply chain coordination across 3 forward operating bases. He knew diesel engines, hydraulic systems, parts inventory, and how to keep machines running when the parts manual said they couldn't. Hale nodded through all of it, took no notes. "And after the Army?" "Discharged in 2014, medical." "Then what?" Owen paused. "I had a period of transition. 3 years. Hale set the tablet down. "That's what the Gap says. 3 years with no employment, no address, no references." He folded his hands on the table. "Help me understand that." "I was homeless," Owen said. He didn't flinch, didn't look away. "My VA benefits were denied due to a system error. I lived on the street for 3 years until the error was corrected." Hale's expression didn't change, but something shifted behind his eyes. A door closing. "I appreciate your honesty," Hale said. "We value transparency here at Barrett & Cole." He picked up the tablet again. "We'll review your application and be in touch within the week." The interview had lasted 11 minutes. Owen walked out of the building. The November wind hit his face. He had said everything right. He had answered every question. But he felt it. The way Hale's eyes had gone flat when he said the word homeless. The way the smile had thinned to nothing. He had seen that look before, on the bus, in the shelter, at every door that closed before he could finish his sentence. He waited. 3 days. 4. 5. No call. No email. Nothing. Each morning he checked the mailbox. Each afternoon he walked to the library to check his email. Each time, nothing. He ironed the gray shirt again on day 4, as if staying ready might summon a response. On day 6, he walked back to the library and used the public computer to check the email address Pamela had helped him set up. One message, from Barrett & Cole Human Resources. Subject line, Application Status Update. He opened it. "Dear Mr. Anderson, thank you for your interest in Barrett & Cole Logistics. After careful review, we have decided to move forward with other candidates whose qualifications more closely align with the current needs of the position. We wish you the best in your future endeavors." Owen read it twice, then closed the browser. Sat there for 4 minutes staring at the blank screen. His reflection stared back, cleaner than before, better dressed than before, and just as unwanted. He stood up. Walked out. He didn't go back to the apartment. He walked. 15 blocks, 20. His boots hit the pavement in steady rhythm. He ended up at the bus stop on State Street, the same bench, the same spot where he had first seen Davis. He sat down, looked at his boots, new boots, clean, laced tight. They didn't matter. That same afternoon, 2 miles north, a teenager named Kyle Briggs sat in his bedroom and uploaded a video to TikTok. Title: Homeless Dude Grabs Wheelchair on Bus, Lamau. He had edited the footage, cut the beginning where the veteran asked for help, cut the end where Owen locked the wheels and stood guard. What remained was 43 seconds of a ragged man in a torn jacket grabbing a wheelchair and pulling it. No context, no sound except Kyle's laughter layered on top. The video hit 50,000 views in 6 hours. By midnight, it had 300,000. The comments piled up like debris after a flood. Why is nobody stopping him? Typical. Can't leave anything alone. Someone ID this guy before he hurts somebody. Homeless thug trying to steal from a disabled vet. Disgusting. This is why people don't ride the bus anymore. Owen didn't see it. He didn't have a phone. He didn't have internet. He sat in his studio apartment that night, staring at the interview rejection letter he had printed at the library, and wondered if this was how it would always be. Clean clothes, new shoes, Same answer. The boots sat by the door, the coat hung on the hook, everything in order. Everything useless. But inside Barrett and Cole, in an office on the 6th floor, Richard Hale had already moved on. He pulled up the next application. Another veteran. Another referral. Black name on the header. He marked it, not a cultural fit, and closed the file. Owen Anderson was the 4th black veteran Hale had rejected in 8 months. Same language, same reason, same 11-minute interview that was decided before the candidate sat down. Nobody had noticed the pattern. Not yet. Sergeant Major Harold Davis saw the video on a Wednesday evening. His daughter had texted him a link with one word, Dad. He clicked it, watched it once, watched it again. His jaw set hard. The video showed Owen, torn jacket, bare feet, grabbing the wheelchair. But not the part before, not the part where Davis sat stranded, not the part where 12 people walked past, not the part where Owen locked the wheels and stood guard for 8 stops. Just a ragged black man putting his hands on a wheelchair. And laughter. Davis picked up his phone and called Pamela Cortez. The veteran they placed through my referral. Owen Anderson. What happened with his job? Pamela checked the system. Barrett and Cole. Interviewed last Tuesday. Rejected. Reason listed, qualifications did not align with position needs. Pull the hiring manager's name. Richard Hale. Senior HR Manager. Davis was quiet for 5 seconds. Then, pull every veteran referral Hale has processed in the last 12 months. Every one. Sort by outcome and demographic. Pamela pulled the records. It took 40 minutes. When she called Davis back, her voice had changed. 12 veteran referrals processed by Hale in the last 8 months. 8 white candidates, 4 black candidates. All 8 white candidates were advanced to second-round interviews. All 4 black candidates were rejected at first round. Same language in every rejection. Not a cultural fit, or qualifications did not align. Davis didn't respond immediately. All 4 had combat experience, he asked. All 4. 2 mechanics, 1 medic, 1 logistics specialist. Combined service, 26 years. 0 second interviews. Who owns Barrett and Cole? Jonathan Cole, founder and CEO. Army veteran, 82nd Airborne. Davis knew the name. They had crossed paths at a Veterans Leadership Summit in 2018. Cole had given a speech about hiring veterans. Passionate, specific, full of numbers. Davis had believed every word. He dialed Cole's number directly. Jonathan, it's Harold Davis. Harold, good to hear from you. How's the... I need you to pull a hiring file. Owen Anderson. Your HR manager Richard Hale rejected him last week. I need to know why. Silence on the line. I also need you to pull every file Hale has processed in the past year, specifically the ones he rejected. I think you'll find a pattern that doesn't match the company your name is on. Cole was quiet for a long moment. Give me 24 hours. It took him 12. Cole pulled the files himself. He sat in his office until 2 a.m., reading rejection after rejection. Same phrases, same timing, same 11-minute interviews. He cross-referenced with the candidates Hale had advanced. Different language, longer interviews, follow-up notes. All white. He called Davis at 7 a.m. You were right. I know. I didn't know this was happening in my company, Harold. Now you do. Cole exhaled. I want to meet Anderson myself. Monday, 10 a.m. No HR filter. No Hale. Just me. I'll tell him. That same morning, something else shifted. A passenger named Gloria Whitfield, a retired school teacher who had been on the bus that day, uploaded her own video. She had filmed the entire scene from her seat near the middle. 3 minutes and 12 seconds. Uncut. Unedited. It showed everything. The veteran stranded. The driver ignoring him. The woman screaming. Owen stepping forward barefoot. The lift. The lock. The 8 stops standing guard. She posted it with one caption. This is what actually happened. The other video is a lie. Gloria's video hit 200,000 views in 4 hours. By evening, it had crossed 1 million. The comments turned hard. We owe this man an apology. He was the only one who helped. The only one. Find him. Someone find him and help him. That woman who screamed should be ashamed. The teenager, Kyle Briggs, deleted his original video. But the internet had already saved it. Screenshots of his caption, LMAOOO, sat next to screenshots of Owen lifting the wheelchair barefoot, side by side. The contrast said everything words couldn't. Owen didn't know any of this. He was in his apartment, sitting on the bed, staring at the boots by the door. His phone, a prepaid cell Pamela had helped him get, rang for the first time. It was Davis. Monday morning, 10 a.m. Barrett and Cole. Ask for Jonathan Cole, not Hale, Cole himself. Owen was quiet. Put your boots on, son. This isn't over. Monday morning, Owen laced his boots. Same gray button-down, same dark jeans, same belt. He stood in front of the mirror and straightened his collar. His hands were steady this time, not because he wasn't afraid, because Davis had told him to show up, and Owen Anderson still knew how to follow an order from a man he trusted. He took the bus to North Wacker Drive. Same building, same revolving door, same lobby. But this time, no receptionist directed him to conference room B. A woman at the front desk smiled, actually smiled, and said, "Mr. Anderson, Mr. Cole is expecting you, 6th floor, corner office." Corner office, not a conference room, not a holding pen. Jonathan Cole stood when Owen entered. Tall, lean, close-cropped gray hair, firm handshake, eyes that held contact and didn't wander. Behind him, a wall of framed photographs, soldiers, trucks, loading docks, ribbon cuttings. A folded American flag in a glass case on the bookshelf. "Sit down, Owen. Can I call you Owen?" "Yes, sir." Cole sat across from him. No tablet, no paperwork. Just two men and a desk between them. "I'm going to be direct with you," Cole said. "I pulled your file. I read your service record. 2 tours, vehicle mechanic, 3rd Infantry, Purple Heart." He paused. "I also read the rejection letter my company sent you. And I want you to know, that letter does not represent this company. It represents one man's decision, a decision that was wrong." Owen didn't speak. He sat still, listening. "I hired Richard Hale 2 years ago," Cole continued. "He came with strong credentials, good references. I trusted him to run our veteran hiring pipeline with integrity." Cole leaned forward. He didn't. In the last 8 months, Hale rejected every black veteran who came through his office. Every single one. Same language, same excuses, same 11-minute interviews. I didn't catch it. That's on me. "What happens now?" Owen asked. "2 things." Cole held up one finger. "First, Hale has been terminated, effective this morning. He was escorted out of the building at 8 a.m. His access has been revoked. HR is conducting a full audit of every hiring decision he made." He held up a second finger. "Second, I'm offering you a position. Fleet Maintenance Supervisor. You'd oversee 12 vehicles, coordinate with our logistics dispatch team, and manage preventive maintenance scheduling. Starting salary, $58,000 a year. Full benefits, dental, medical, vision, veteran support counseling included." He paused. "The job is yours if you want it. No second interview, no committee. My decision." Owen looked at Cole, looked at the flag behind him, looked at the photographs on the wall. Men in uniforms, men on loading docks, men shaking hands. "Why?" Owen said. "You don't know me." "I know enough." Cole's voice was quiet, steady. "I know you served. I know the system failed you. And I know that when a man in a wheelchair needed help, you were the only one on that bus who stood up." He leaned back. "That tells me more about who you are than any resume." Owen extended his hand. Cole shook it. "I'll take the job." "Good. You start next Monday." At 10:47 a.m. that same morning, 3 floors below, Richard Hale sat in a small conference room with 2 HR representatives and a company attorney. His gold watch caught the fluorescent light as he shifted in his seat. "This is absurd," Hale said. "I followed standard evaluation criteria. Every rejection was documented." The HR director, a woman named Sandra Easton, placed a printed spreadsheet on the table. 12 names, 8 advanced, 4 rejected, color-coded. The pattern was visible from across the room. Same language in every black candidate's rejection, Sandra said. Not a cultural fit. Can you explain what that means, specifically, for each of these 4 individuals? Hale looked at the spreadsheet. His jaw tightened. Cultural fit is a standard metric. It's not a metric, Richard. It's a phrase, and you used it exclusively for candidates of one demographic. 4 for 4. The attorney slid a document across the table. Termination agreement. Hale stared at it. You can't be serious. We're serious. Sandra closed her folder. Your access badge has been deactivated. Security will escort you to collect your personal belongings. You have 15 minutes. Hale stood. His chair scraped the floor. He looked at the attorney, then at Sandra, then at the spreadsheet. He didn't sign the agreement. He walked out. It didn't matter. The termination was effective regardless. That evening, the local CBS affiliate ran the story. Gloria Whitfield's video played in full, 3 minutes and 12 seconds of Owen lifting the wheelchair, locking the wheels, standing guard. The anchor narrated the backstory. Homeless veteran, denied benefits, 1 act of kindness, 1 phone call. Then they showed the teenager's edited clip side by side with the original. The contrast was surgical. Linda Marsh, the woman in the business suit, sat in her living room and watched the broadcast. She saw herself on screen. Not her face, the station had blurred it, but her voice. Clear, unmistakable. Don't let him touch that wheelchair. She turned off the television, sat in silence for a long time. The teenager, Kyle Briggs, watched from his bedroom. His deleted video was now a screenshot on every major news site, his username visible, his laughter audible in every repost. He didn't laugh this time. The next morning, Owen received a call from Pamela Cortez. Mr. Anderson, I need you to come into the office. There's something in your military file that requires your attention. What is it? I think it's better if you see it in person. Owen went. Pamela was waiting in her office with a sealed manila envelope. Old, yellowed at the edges, stamped with Department of Defense markings and a date. 15 years ago. This was in your service record, Pamela said. Filed and sealed, never opened, never processed. Owen took the envelope. His name was on the front, handwritten. He opened it. Inside was a single document, a nomination form for the Medal of Honor, submitted by his commanding officer, Captain Raymond Wells, in recognition of actions during an ambush in Ramadi. Owen had pulled 3 wounded soldiers from a burning vehicle under direct enemy fire, sustained shrapnel wounds to his left knee, and continued providing cover until medevac arrived. The nomination had been submitted, acknowledged, and then nothing. Lost in a system that processed paper the way it processed people, selectively. Owen stared at the document. His hands didn't shake. His eyes didn't blink. He read it 3 times. Pamela's voice was soft. Sergeant Major Davis has already contacted the Department of Defense. The nomination is being resubmitted, formally, through proper channels this time. Owen set the paper down on her desk, gently, like it might break. I didn't do it for a medal, he said. I know, Pamela said. That's exactly why you deserve one. The following Monday, Owen Anderson woke at 5:30 a.m. He didn't need an alarm. His body still ran on Army time, internal clock set 15 years ago and never reset. He showered, dressed. The gray button-down was pressed. The dark jeans were clean. The belt was buckled. The winter coat hung by the door. And the boots, the black lace-up boots, sat on the mat, waiting. He put them on, pulled the laces tight, stood up. He made coffee in the small kitchen, instant, black. Drank it standing by the window, watching the city wake up. Cars below, streetlights switching off one by one, people walking, all of them with somewhere to be. Today, he was one of them. He took the Route 29 bus, same line, same seats. He sat in the middle this time, near the window, and watched the streets pass. The bus stopped at State Street. His old bench was there, empty. A pigeon sat on the backrest where his head used to lean. Owen looked at it for 3 seconds, then looked forward. At Baird & Cole, the front desk receptionist handed him a lanyard, his name printed on the badge. Owen Anderson, Fleet Maintenance Supervisor. He clipped it to his shirt pocket. The plastic was smooth. The lanyard was blue. His name was spelled correctly. He walked to the maintenance bay. 12 vehicles, white trucks with the Baird & Cole logo, fluorescent lights overhead. The smell of diesel and grease. Familiar, warm, a language his hands remembered. 3 other men were already there. 2 mechanics, 1 dispatcher, all veterans. They shook Owen's hand. One of them, a broad man named Curtis, looked at Owen's boots. New guy, nice kicks. Owen looked down, smiled. Small, real. Yeah, they're new. At noon, his phone buzzed. A text from Davis. First day, how's it feel? Owen typed back, deleted it. Typed again, deleted it again. Finally, feels like I'm back. Davis replied with one word, good. That evening, Owen walked back to his apartment, unlocked the door, took off his boots and set them by the mat, hung his coat on the hook, sat on the bed. The studio was quiet. The refrigerator hummed. The street light outside his window cast a long orange stripe across the floor. On the wall above his bed, the interview letter was gone. In its place, the lanyard badge. Owen Anderson, Fleet Maintenance Supervisor. He looked at it for a long time. Then he looked at the boots by the door. Worn now, just slightly. A crease forming across the left toe. Grease on the right sole. Used. Finally used. He lay down, closed his eyes, and for the first time in 3 years, Owen Anderson slept like a man who knew where he would wake up. Owen Anderson lifted a wheelchair onto a city bus with bare feet on cold metal and cracked hands around steel tubing. No speech, no demand, no expectation. Just a man who saw another man stuck and decided to move. One act, one phone call, one life changed. The system that failed him for 3 years was corrected in 24 hours because one person made one call to someone who listened. The man who rejected him based on skin color was escorted out of the building before noon. The video that mocked him was buried by 3 minutes of uncut truth. And a Medal of Honor nomination, sealed 15 years inside a file nobody opened, was pulled from the dark and placed where it belonged. Owen didn't ask for any of it. He never asked. He just lifted when no one else would. And someone noticed. What would you have done on that bus? Would you have stepped forward? Bare feet, empty pockets, nothing to gain? Or looked away like everyone else? Tell me in the comments. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe so you don't miss what comes next, because that Medal of Honor nomination is sitting on a desk at the Pentagon right now. And what they decide, that story's coming next. Yo, be the one who steps forward, not to prove something, not 'cause the camera's on, but 'cause somebody needs you right now. People remember who looked away, but they never forget the ones who showed up empty-handed and lifted anyway.